All right, everybody, welcome back to a brand new live stream. So, once again, today we are looking to trade US30 and gold. Let's do a quick recap of what's going on in the markets. So, start off with US30. So far, what we have seen is US30 did go ahead and break all-time highs. From here, price has been pushing up, and what we can see is that we have a retracement that broke past this low right here. And from here, we could continue higher because liquidity has been swept, as well as we have this kind of structure right here pointing us support, which could point us to the upside. And so price could continue higher from here, or it could continue and to start to fall. However, what we see right here is we see a leg that is pushing us to the upside. And while we do expect price to actually fall a little bit lower, this is an area where price could reverse and shoot up from for a few reasons. So one, just looking at this range, we expect price to at least take out this area right here. Um, let's see this from a sell point of view. From a sell point of view, we are respecting this area right here, which is possible. Let's see. So we have this leg on the downside. Price just took out this liquidity. And so we could actually fall off from here as well. The higher time frame is showing us that we do have more reversal that is possible. However, I'm going to go off of what we are seeing right now in the 4 hour. And what I see is a nice bullish move. I'm seeing price actually took out this area right here. However, I am seeing price as a potential to fall down lower as well. So let's see what US30 is able to give us today. Now on gold we are bullish, right? So we can see this range that we had created. Price did end up taking out this low right here. And from this area, we are interested in buys. And so what we saw on Tuesdays, we saw a nice wick to the downside that was then filled on Wednesday. And why that is important is because we needed to see a closure in this wick in order for us to finally see liquidity being swept. And so now that we have gotten that, we can see that price is starting to trend back up, nice in a bullish fashion. However, I'm not interested in getting into a buy until we probably take out, ideally, some of this liquidity. That is where I would like to be getting into a buy. And so I'm not interested in getting into a trade from this area. However, I would be interested in getting into a trade when price enters maybe this area. So we're going to continue to see how US30 and gold behave. The 4 hour did close, so we can't expect price to shoot down. Um, and right now, because we are in the start of our bullish trend, we need to be mindful of, do we expect price to sell off or do we expect this area to hold? I think for a few things that we could do to kind of monitor that is, yeah, let's see. It's a bit confusing actually. Yeah, I mean, what I would like to see ideally on gold is I would like to see this high get taken out. And if that high gets taken out, then that's good news for us. That means that price is going to continue bullish and that we have seen a break of structure to the upside. 'Cause currently, we still have not seen any break of structure to the upside. We still could just reverse off of here and just decide to fall off. So we need to see more confirmation. Plus, we have all of this liquidity sitting right below over here. That ideally we would like price to get taken out. Then we would like to see a retracement where this liquidity is swept, and that is giving us a good confirmation that we want to go ahead and enter this trade. So off on US30 or on gold and on US30, I guess this is where you know we have the potential to continue to fall off. Um, However, this is also an area where price could just reverse off from, right? So price could fall down until like probably 46,273 as well, before it decides to retrace. So could use this as our. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it as that because that's the lowest one. If price takes out that, then I'm definitely looking to continue buying. So let's see what do we see right here. Um, I would say right now my bias is sell. And so let's see if we are able to get confirmation for that. So you see buys also make sense because from here on like the 15-minute, we can see as well that price had this nice retracement. It ended up taking out liquidity from right here. We still didn't get confirmation that price was ready to shoot up. Then during Asian session, we get a nice wick to the downside, which is not really showing up, right? Look at the 15-minute. This is all liquidity sitting down right here. So I think I am in a sell bias, but this would be confusing for a retail trader because we see that liquidity was taken, then we saw all of this liquidity that was created at the top, which was then taken as well. And so we are bearish on US30. Looking at the way yesterday closed as well, we can see that price ended pretty bearish and that today we saw a nice retracement up and we have gone ahead and taken out yesterday's low. And so while that is great news for us if we were in a buy bias, I expect price to continue to fall down slightly based on yesterday's big momentum candle to the downside. Plus the fact that if we look on the 1 hour and the 15-minute, we don't really see that much liquidity being taken out on the bottom. And so let's see how price is moving. So this is the area where we would buy from. So I guess this is where we could see price shoot up from, or this is where we could see price reverse from. Hmm. But to be honest, I'm in a sell bias, so this trade does not make sense to enter in. What I would like to see is price actually reverse back up here, which I do think is going to happen. Is this trade worth it? No, not really. Let's say let's stay on the 2 minute and let's see if price actually breaks above one of these, because what that would indicate to us is that price is turning bullish. So yes, this is a good area. So what we see right here on the 2 minute is that price is struggling to break above this area. This is the first 15-minute candle of the next 4 hour for US30. And so we do expect this retracement for sure. However, we need to see confirmation before we get into the upside. And so still as of right now, we are looking like we are pushing to the downside. And this is why we wait for confirmation, right? If on the 2 minute we saw a break of structure, to me, that's showing that we are ready to get into a trade. But however, we don't see anything similar to that showing up just yet. And so that is the reason why we need to wait for structure before we are able to get into any type of buy. Even if this is the retracement right here, we expect price to push up, then push back down before we enter the trade. And so really we are just waiting from here. So like right here, we are able to see even on the 15-minute on the line chart that all of this in the end of the day is just consolidation. And that what was price waiting to do is price is waiting to shoot up and take liquidity. before it could go to the downside. What we see right here is that price has not broken structure to the upside whatsoever, whether we can say that is the 1 hour, whether we can say that's the 15-minute, or whether we can say that's the 5 minute. The 5 minute actually shows it the best, where what we see out over here is that price ended up using this POI to fall off from, which is great news for us. That means it's confirming that price is probably going to head to this lower 46,100 level that we had drawn out. And so what's important over here now is we need to see some type of entry where we can get into a trade. So far, we have seen this retracement to the downside. We need to see the retracement up, probably another retracement to the upside after that to give us a wick before we could enter the sell. So we're going to continue to wait and see on how this trade behaves. US30. Let's see how US30 has behaved. So we still haven't seen that exact push to the downside just yet. Now, if we do see another push to the downside, we could get into sells, which would be right up here. Stop loss right there. And take profit would be right underneath this liquidity right here. However, that's where we're going to just see how price is moving. Once again, if we do a higher time frame analysis, we have in a way broken structure right here. However, that is not good enough for me. What I would like to see is I would like to see price actually take out this high on the 15-minute. And what we see right here is a nice retracement before price can give us that move. And so here, what we can expect is we can expect price to shoot down, at least into this area of 41.29, before we decide we want to get into buys. We do see all of this liquidity that was created from Asian going up until New York and into going through London and into New York. So we are bullish. However, we do expect price to just push down a little bit. And so we are interested in buys. And so if price comes down over here, that is where we would be looking to enter buys. For the sell, however, while we can be interested, I would like to see at least this 15-minute candle close. I'd like to give it another 7 minutes to see what is price doing. Is price starting to shoot up from here? If so, like that's okay. That would actually be good for us. But then if we saw a push to the downside from there, we can see that liquidity has been swept and we are ready to move to the downside. So no rush on US30 right now as well, or gold. Let's see, what does the 2 minute look like? 2 minutes still, technically this would need to break in order for us to be bullish. Let's see what it looks like on the 5 minute. So we saw how US30 and gold just ended the last 15 minutes. If gold, for example, shot up, which is totally fine. Maybe it's not ready for that retracement to the downside just yet. Um, and we can see it's really just kind of consolidating. No price structure is really being formed. Um, and so here, what we would look for if we are still interested in a sell is we need to see this structure get taken out. If that gets taken out, then that shows me that we are actually bears are in control, and that we are pushing to the lower to the downside. So I could get into a small trade then, um, but I'm not going to be entering a buy from here just because there's too much. I would much rather get into a buy on a discount. So I'm not going to get into a buy from here. On US30, what we see right here is we see price actually had a nice retracement to the downside from this POI. And I am definitely bearish just based off the way price is looking, the way that we have these liquidity levels right here that are ready to be taken out, plus the fact that we haven't really broken structure to the upside just yet. So I am bearish. What I would be looking for here is probably I would want price to actually push past this high right here on 46,499 before I'm interested in sells. And so right now I'm just waiting for price to actually maybe hopefully reverse back up before it gives us that final confirmation that no, we are certainly pushing to the downside. And so just continuing to wait and see how price behaves. Gold is definitely moving really slow today. However, we're going to keep monitoring it just to see what price gives us, right? It really hasn't made a decision. It's just kind of hovering in this area. So, nothing. I think on gold right now. US30 is where price is starting to look interesting, right? Because we can see in the daily, yesterday was an extremely bearish day for us. What we would expect if we were to turn bullish is we would expect yesterday's low to be taken out and then price to start moving to the upside. What we can see right here is that that is exactly what happened. We did see price actually come and take out yesterday's low. But from here, to be honest, we haven't gotten real confirmation that we are ready to push to the upside. What we would need to see in that case is we would need to see this move to the downside and then another move up. And so we just aren't ready for that just yet. Now, on the 15-minute, we are looking pretty bullish, right? We are looking like we are respecting this 15-minute candle. And so for that reason, it still does not make sense to actually get into a sell. Does it make sense to get into a buy? I mean, potentially, since we saw this move right here, this could be like, if we are respecting this area right here, we could turn bullish. But I guess I'm not bullish, I'm bearish. Um, One thing that would show me that is if we see a bearish um, BOS, right? So still, while we are bearish, we are not interested in getting into a sell until we see confirmation show up. So let's see how the next 5-minute closes in this 15-minute candle. Let's see if we are able to break below this area. And if we are, then that is when I would be interested in getting into a sell. The reason why it doesn't make sense to just go ahead and set a limit right here is because price could actually retrace all the way up before it makes that decision that it wants to fall. Yeah, I mean, so far we still haven't really gotten any confirmation. Price could push up from here. However, I'm still wary of this point right here. I would still like for it to sell off. Yeah, I mean, even this, I'd want this to get taken out. No movement today really on gold. I haven't really seen any price structure, anything get created. And US30, this is where we are interested in selling, to be honest, because we haven't really broken structure to the upside. If anything, we've just taken liquidity from the top right here, right? So from here, I am interested in selling off. However, we need to see that final confirmation that we are pushing to the downside, which we have yet to see. Um, yeah, so we haven't really seen price show us that it's ready for a sell-off just yet. In fact, this area could be respected and price can continue pushing up. We don't know. And so for that reason, I am not going to be entering into a trade on US30 just yet. However, I am bearish and would like to see a nice sell-off from here. So let's see how the next few candles close. We have about 6 minutes left. And so we'll check back to see what US30 is doing then. So from here, what we see is um no real movement right on the 15 minute in like the last since basically 8 a.m. up until coming up to almost 10 a.m. So about 2 hours of no real price movement. It's just been consolidating. Um, Again, we are interested in buys, but we're only interested in buys from like down here. So if we were to get into a trade, it would be a sell. That would be if this area is broken with high momentum. US30, on the other hand, is still looking pretty bullish. Let's come back to this in 5 minutes. I'm worried that we're actually turning bullish on US30, and the reason for that is because we are not seeing the confirmation that we need to in order for us to sell to the downside. So, for example, if this was if this was a strong high, then this low would have been taken out, right? But this is showing me that this is a weak high because price has failed to retrace. And so I'm turning bullish, right? If I was to enter a buy from here and set my stops down here, risk this much dollars, I would only be looking to take it up to here. So let's see if we can find a better risk to reward. What do we need to see here in order to confirm the bias that we have that price is going to sell off? Price is kind of in the middle of nowhere right now. I think that's the issue. I want price to be down here before I'm interested. And so, does it make sense to enter a trade from here? Or am I forcing it?
It is indeed. Cooper Conley, Virat Kohli's got to go, and he goes without scoring. Big shout, looks close, he's got it! Kohli's out for a duck, second time in a row. Does he review fast and celebrates with the second? Concerns here for India.
Pay attention to this, my friends. Pay attention to this, my friends. Might be the only Bobby-approved air fryer at Costco. Why? Well, look inside. There's no Teflon, no fresh chemicals. Pay attention.
Two.
Oh, how did you get here?
Oh, BMW. Didn't drink for 11 years. Okay, I turned 12.
All times you carry around images of all of your teammates in the shower.
I can neither confirm nor deny those statements. And I don't know if I should say this, but there's a secret trick that I don't know if it's true or not, but just throwing in a few zins.
Came out of the bush.
I think we all came out of a bush at some point.
You really got me going. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close off this live stream.